Do people in Canada have cable, like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And at Chili's. Is it a Chili's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolars.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Thank you for watching and listening. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NordCast. It is Friday, March 14th, 2025. I am your host, Nord97, who just woke up from his beauty sleep. Joined with Carter. Carter, how we doing?
Doing pretty good. You a big fan of naps, Nord? Just a big nap guy or what?
I actually kind of took 2 naps today. I woke up this morning. No, hear me out. I woke up this morning. I went to school. I came back home, took a little power nap, went back to school, came home, took another nap, and here we are. So that's been my day. And we have Jack. Holy crap, Jack. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up? Doing good. Just chilling on spring break.
Oh, yeah. Well, at
You
least
got spring break now?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't get a spring break.
Really?
Well, it's never spring in Winnipeg, so.
No, it's still fucking winter.
You guys just go to from winter to summer. You don't have any in between.
Yeah, we get like a week of spring, which realistically, I guess should be our spring break, but we never know when it is, so they can't plan it.
One day is 80 degrees, the next day is 10 degrees.
Yeah, it's kind of how it's been here. It's been like on and off with the cold and warm weather.
Yeah, it has been too. Like I think the one like a couple of days ago it was like 65, and I'm wearing shorts to school. And
That's
then
what it is today.
It was like 45 today. So I'm like, all right, cool. Just keep on, messing with my emotions. Anywho, Jack, how are you, man? We haven't seen you in a little bit. Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I did want to ask
the youth movement.
What?
The Hawks have started the youth movement.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I was going to lead into here. How do you feel about what the Hawks did this deadline? Because they traded away Seth Jones. They brought in Spencer Knight. They didn't really do much of anything else. But how did you feel about the Hawks deadline?
Yeah, I'm really glad that Jones is gone. Did you see the quote from Foligno the other day?
I did not see it from the other day. What was it?
It was just calling out Jones without actually calling out Jones. But yeah, anyways, they called up Levshinov, who looked good in his debut. They played a night in San Jose. That's a late one for me, 9:30 here. But yeah, it's been fun to watch. Like the guys like Nazar's look really good. But yeah, I'm liking what I've seen, especially from Spencer Knight as well. Knight has looked great in goal. But yeah, it's just full on youth movement, and it's pretty overdue at this point, but I'm glad they're doing it now. It's kind of building momentum into next year.
Did you feel that you guys should have traded Ryan Donato?
I don't know. If they don't get an extension done, then it's like, well, what the heck? Like, why is he still here? But I don't know. I think they wanted a first-round pick for him, but I don't think anybody was offering a first-round pick. So I do think he's worth a first-round pick, though. So it didn't happen. I don't mind, but we'll see what happens in the offseason with him.
Yeah, definitely going to have to circle back around to that. We heard a report today about how they were apparently close on an extension on deadline day, and then things fell through. So, there's still a lot of time in the regular season, and there will be a lot of time through the playoffs, because I hate to break it to you, I don't think the Blackhawks are making the playoffs.
Yeah.
That might be news to you. Carter, your new Jets made their debuts. Have you been paying attention? And if so, how do you feel about your boys Tanev and Shen?
Well, I think as I talked about last time, I'm really excited for Tanev. He's been here before. He knows what being in Winnipeg's all about, and he looks like Brandon Tanev. Like he looks like the same guy he was when he left, just a little bit better. So I like that. Luke Shen made his debut, I think, 2 nights ago. Who'd we against? Whoever we played, I can't exactly remember who it was. Or against the Rangers, sorry. Logan Stanley got pulled from the lineup, so it was a great day for the Winnipeg fans. But he looked pretty solid too. He's a big body, so I really like the moves. I really like the 2 guys that they brought in. So happy with that.
That's awesome. Well, we are in the home stretch, folks, of the regular season. Teams have less than 20 games. left in their schedule. And we're starting to get into the point where teams will be eliminated from the playoffs and teams will be clinching in the playoffs, at least officially. Like, I think we know what most of it's going to look like. And, obviously what teams are going to be eliminated. Hint, hint, it's the Blackhawks. So, yeah. So we kind of know what the NHL is going to be, but we're starting to get into that point where it's really official. And, like, we're basically a month away from the playoffs. Like, I think a month from now will be the end of the regular season, and we'll start doing our playoff previews and all that good stuff. So we're getting into the home stretch of this regular season, and I could not be happier because it's been a painful season, especially for me. But yeah, I want to lead off with something that developed in our episode on Sunday, but we did not talk about it. Mitch Marner was reportedly almost traded to the Carolina Hurricanes for Mikko Rantanen. Very interesting news that came out. Apparently, the Canes initially asked for Marner, and the Leafs said, all right, we got to go take this to Marner, and they asked him if he would waive his no-trade clause. What, Carter?
I mentioned it, but that's okay.
Did you? Okay.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Thanks for interrupting me there. The Leafs considered the proposal, and in part because Marner was to completely punt extension talks into the summer and was non-committal to the club. But when Toronto approached Marner before the deadline and told him that they were asking him about if he would waive his no movement clause or not, Marner said no, and that he's committed to being a Toronto Maple Leaf, being in the city, and would not accept a trade to Carolina or anywhere else. And yeah, that was the end of that. I mean, Toronto did end up offering Matthew Nyes and Fraser Minten, or not Matthew Nyes, Easton Cowan and Fraser Minten, along with, I think, 2 first-round picks. But Carolina was like, no, we want at least a roster player in there, and they got that in the Dallas deal. But it was very interesting, and now there's been a lot of talks over the last couple of days of Mitch Marner possibly now might leave Toronto because of this, and there are rumors really speculating around if, like, him possibly leaving, and apparently Marner even said something himself, like he might test the market. And I wonder, like, is this going to lead to possibly Toronto making a trade in the offseason and trading away Mitch Marner? I think it really all depends with the playoffs. I think Marner is going to ask for a lot of money, probably around 13.75 or something like that, maybe even a little bit more. And I think it's going to prove a lot of interesting points in the fact that if the Leafs lose in the first round, we may not see Marner in a Maple Leafs jersey moving forward. So I want to ask you guys, do you guys think that there is a real possibility of Mitch Marner leaving Toronto, and what do you think the odds are of it happening? You can tell.
I think it depends on what they do in the playoffs this year. I mean, there's always been talks of like getting rid of their big 4, which is Tavares, Nylander, Matthews, and Marner. But yeah, Marner almost got traded last summer, didn't he?
I think there was definitely talks of trading him. Like, I remember there was a report the week of Game 7 that Marner was going to get traded that week. Or if he was going to get traded, he was going to get traded that week. If not, he was going to stay a Maple Leaf through next season. And obviously, he stayed a Maple Leaf through up until now. But yeah, there were reports there, and there was a lot of talks about it because, again, his no movement clause kicked in. And before the no movement clause kicked in, you could have freely traded him anywhere. You could have traded him to Carolina at that point. But now that he has a no movement clause, for basically every trade, you have to go to him for everything. So that's the other thing there. Carter, what do you think about all this?
I mean, I think that Mitch Marner wants to be a Leaf. I think him waiving his no movement clause, or not waiving it, sorry, definitely means that he wants to stay. I don't think that really him testing the market, I think, is going to be something that happens, but I think that even if Toronto offers him a little less money than, let's say, like a Calgary or like somewhere else, right? I don't see a world where he doesn't return to Toronto because I think he loves that city. He loves playing for him. Fans love him. Like, he seems like an absolute great guy. So I don't see a world where Mitch Marner leaves, but at the same time, I mean, like, you can't. We don't know the guy, so it's hard to say what he's thinking. But if I was the GM of Toronto, I would not want Mitch Marner to walk because realistically, he's been one of their best playoff performers through and through. So I'd want to keep Mitch Marner on the team if I was a Leafs GM.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just wonder because we haven't heard anything about extension talks. And I think a lot of that may just be that Marner is not talking during the regular season and is not going to be talking about extensions until the offseason, which I understand on a level from Marner, but it is a big risk from Toronto because what if they lose in the playoffs this year and Marner has a massive ask of like $60 million and the Leafs kind of get put into a corner and they either let him go and lose one of their top players or they have no choice but to keep him. So I wonder what really is going to happen there with the Marner situation. Realistically, though, if he did go to free agency, how much do you guys think he'd make?
I think it'd be upward of 10 million.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, for sure. He'd probably get 12.5, I think.
Maybe more. I mean, like Rantanen could have gotten 14, I think, on the open market. And I think Marner is...
Because what did he get, 12?
He got 12 with Dallas, but I think he caved. Like, again, he got off
more.
Yeah, he could have got more. So
yeah. I think Marner gets 12.5 to 13.
I think he's the equivalent of Rantanen, if not better than Rantanen. And I think actually that extension with Mikko and Dallas, I think actually is really going to help him, or really going to help, not him, Toronto, in a sense that they have some leeway. Jesus, you can tell I just woke up when they go and try to sign him. So I wonder what's going to happen there with Mitch, but that overall trade thing really would have surprised me because imagine if Marner would have said yes. I think that would have broke the internet. Seriously, if Marner got traded for Rantanen, it probably would have been a 1-for-1 deal too. I don't think there would have been anything else involved. It would have been a just shell shocker throughout the entire NHL, and I would have been absolutely in shock. One more thing on Marner. What's a team you guys think could go out and sign Mitch Marner in the offseason?
You guys are gonna call me biased, but the Blackhawks.
I'm not hating on that because Chicago they have the cap.
There's been rumors. There's definitely been rumors of it's like him or Rantanen, but Rantanen's obviously off the table now. So,
well, they want to speed up the rebuild, and Marner would 100% speed up the rebuild. So
Marner would be perfect.
Yeah. What do you think, Carter? Winnipeg?
I mean, I'd love to get him in Winnipeg, but it's unrealistic. I think Chicago's definitely a landing spot I could see. But other than that, like it's hard to he's exactly like how we thought with Brad Marchand. Like it's hard to picture him anywhere else, really.
Yeah, and then Brad Marchand ended up going to Florida, so that
exactly. So it's weird, man.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
It is very weird. I'll agree with that. It is a very strange time to be alive. 100%.
Get him in Philly.
That would not happen. Not with Tortorella being there, at least. That might even change, though, because apparently there's some questions about whether or not his job might be on the line. We'll see. I don't know. I said Detroit in a prediction in February, and I'm going to stick by that. I think Detroit would be stupid not to be in on Mitch Marner. They have the salary cap space. They could use a big splash to really put their team over the top, especially if they miss the playoffs this year. It's not going to look great, but getting Marner on that Red Wings roster, it would make that top six absolutely crazy. And I think that I don't blame the Red Wings at all for at least trying to go out and get him if they were to. Let's move on from Mitch Marner and all that good stuff because I just cannot talk about Toronto for more than 15 minutes. Rasmus Dahlin. So we're going back to the Spin Chicklets boys because they decided to put something out, or I guess Biz decided to put something out saying that he heard that Dahlin went to the Sabres, or Kevin Adams more specifically, and said, you guys need to turn it around or I am, quote, gonzos. And that's what Biz said. So I want to make that clear. That's what Bissonnette said. I think that those are exact words. And then Dahlin was asked in the media and said, quote, I don't know what he's talking about. I have never said I want out of here. I'm not happy where we're at. I don't want to lose. We have to get better. I've never said I wanted out of here. I thought that was pretty clear. That bugs me. Actually, I get pissed off by that. I haven't even mentioned the word leave. That's just how it is. So, yeah, it's pretty clear that these two are butting heads. But here's the thing, though. You really think Dahlin is going to come out and say, yeah, I want to leave? Really just right out to the media? So there's two ways to look at it. Dahlin could be, telling the truth, or he could be just masking it up and saying that, no, I don't want to leave just because it would cause an all-out insane thing in Buffalo. Or it could be a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. But what do you guys take from this?
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. But I don't blame him if he wants out. The Sabres have been a joke. I mean, they're supposed to be good this year, and they had that big losing streak, and I mean, they're kind of a laughing stock right now. I feel like they have a good roster. It's just always underperforming. But yeah, I don't blame Dahlin if he did say that, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about this all, Carter?
I think that it's another JT Miller, Elias Pettersson situation because it could be. It could be because, I mean, you look at it the same way, like Vancouver, it's not really the same way, but Vancouver wasn't bad last year, right? But they still have that toxic locker room, and that just completely shot them. At the start of this season, they were pretty bad, and it was because of that toxic locker room. So I'm almost wondering if there's some sort of feud there in Buffalo that obviously we don't know about, but maybe with this whole Dahlin, not being happy with where they're at and with the group. And think about it, he has not experienced a winning season there ever.
No, he hasn't. I mean,
they have experienced nothing.
They never made the playoffs.
Yeah, he's never experienced playoff hockey. At some point, that's going to boil over, and you're just going to lose your mind. And maybe that's what's happening, and he's not happy, and maybe things are happening with the team, and maybe we do see him shipped out. But that's just completely throwing matches from afar and hoping something lands, right? It's not 100% true.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with both sides, I think there's some truth on both ends. I don't think Dahlin went to Kevin Adams and said, I want out. However, I think Dahlin may have went to Adams and said, I need to know what your plan is, what your plan is for the future, how you're going to turn this around, or I'm going to consider going. Because again, this guy has never seen playoff hockey, as Carter said. He's never had a winning season in Buffalo, and that will drive you insane. I don't know about anything in the locker room going on. I don't know what truth there is to that, and if that's actually really going on, but I can totally see him going to Adams and being like, I want a plan. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what the future is going to be. I want to know where the direction of this team is moving forward. Otherwise, I will leave. But this is another thing I feel like by Biz, just to kind of get clicks. I like Biz. I think he's a great TV market guy or whatever, but I feel like some of the time he's just bullshitting and saying just stuff just to say stuff. I don't know. I mean, he said it may not even be from him. It may be a source that's wrong. But at the same time, Dahlin also isn't just going to come out and say, oh, yeah, I want out of the city and I want to leave. But, yeah, I think there's a little bit of truth to both sides. I think the only player that can save Buffalo is Dahlin. He is you can argue that in the time that he's been there have been a lot of problems. I don't believe he's been one of them. I feel like a lot of this team with Buffalo might just be a mental thing because they have the young pieces. They have a roster where if this was any other team in the National Hockey League, they would have made the playoffs 2 years ago. But now that we're hearing, or now since it's Buffalo, it's just why. That's kind of how I feel with this Sabres team. I wonder. Oh, sorry. We got. Oh, I thought you guys said something. Okay.
No.
Oh my God. I wonder if with Cousins saying things that might have made Dahlin consider it, because apparently Cousins came out after scoring against Ottawa and now he's actually shown some real success and said basically there's definitely a little bit of change here and a lot of change. It feels good to be playing for something. I'm pretty sure that's what Cousins said, something along those lines. And I wonder if that's going to maybe caused questions with Dahlin, but I really don't think it's fair to speculate on something like that. Moving on from Dahlin, we wanted to do our playoff picks and our cup picks post-trade deadline. So we did this last year, which led to our great clip of Carter saying Jets are going to win and all that good stuff. And we're going to do it again here today. Starting off with the wild cards. So we want to talk about which teams are going to make the wild cards. So right now, Ottawa and Columbus are in those playoff spots. You guys can pick, both. You can pick those two teams, one of those teams, or neither of those teams. Whoever you think in like the Eastern Conference or Western Conference wild card race is going to make the playoffs and why. So we'll start off with the Eastern Conference. Jack, you go first. Who do you think is making the Eastern Conference wild card and why?
I'm going to say Columbus. Columbus has been playing good hockey all year. They've kind of just been in the mix, like barely holding on to that spot or barely out of it. But I think Werenski is having an insane season, and that team just meshes really well together. They kind of remind me of Washington, just not at Washington's level. But yeah, I go with Columbus. I think they're going to sneak in.
What about your other one?
For wildcard?
Yeah.
Oh, let me look at the standings. I would say Ottawa. Yeah, I'll go Ottawa.
Okay. Carter, what do you got?
I got the Rangers coming back into this race and securing a spot.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that.
And I'm torn between taking Ottawa or Detroit. I got a weird feeling Detroit's going to start picking it up and make a push late. Screw it, whatever. I'm taking the Rangers and Detroit.
How about Kane?
Okay.
Kane's
All
been
right.
playing great.
Yeah, Kane looked crazy against Ottawa, and then
That's been fun. I love to see that.
And they scored, and it was after the buzzer. It was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a huge game
that
too.
photo. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyways, yeah, I'm rolling with Ottawa. Ottawa's won 4 in a row. They are like almost firmly in a playoff spot. Not firmly, but they've gained a lot of ground on these other teams, and they have less games played than all of them except for Columbus. So yeah, I'm going with Ottawa as my first wild card, and then for my second wild card, I said the Rangers a lot. I was torn between them and Detroit and Columbus. I mean, it depends on who's really good heading into it. I'm gonna lean towards. I'll go with Columbus. Why not? I think the Blue Jackets they have had a great season. I think the Rangers are barely going to miss out, and then Detroit's also going to miss too because of the bad stretch they have had in March. And everything else kind of just stays the same, to be honest with you. So moving on to the Western Conference, who do you guys have there? Jack, you go first.
All right, Western Conference. Sorry, let me pull it up. I'm selling right now.
No, it's okay.
Okay, Western Conference.
Absolutely.
I think, what? Wait, what?
Nothing. Just go.
All right, my first pick is Minnesota. They seem to have a pretty good grip on that spot. They could even sneak into the top 3 in the Central even. But yeah, 1 I'll go Minnesota, and then 2 I'll go Vancouver. I think Vancouver gets that spot over Calgary.
Even with the dysfunctional year the Canucks have had?
Even with the dysfunctional year.
Okay. All right. Carter, what do you got?
I'm going to stick with the same. I think it's going to be Minnesota and Calgary. I think Dustin Wolf's been playing really good to have them lose out on that spot. The only switch I could see is Calgary leapfrogging Minnesota just because, man, Kaprizov has to come back here soon. So I think he's supposed to come back in the next couple of weeks. But if they want a chance to maybe make top 3 and not have to play one of, actually, honestly, they might be better sitting at 1 and 2 in the wild card because going to that 3 spot, you got to play Dallas or Colorado. Like, I'd rather take my chances with Vegas, man.
I mean, you would also play Winnipeg too. Like right now, Winnipeg.
Well, that's if you're the 2, right? So I think that I'd rather stay at the 1, but. I mean, I think that the only movement I see is Minnesota, Calgary maybe switching, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the same. I'm rolling with Calgary and Minnesota. Minnesota, without question, like they are like firmly ahead of all those teams. They're only in a wild card spot just because of the West is just so insanely stacked. And then the Flames. It's been a great story this year with Dustin Wolf. I feel like, if we're being honest, they almost have the same record as Vancouver. I feel like if we're being honest, they move into that wild card spot. There's a decent chance they get absolutely blown out of the water in the first round. Again, even though like they're playing Winnipeg, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, "Oh no, they won't play that because it's Winnipeg." But I'm sorry, Carter. I hate to say that to you, but I think you know I'm right. But yeah,
what?
saying that there are people who would think that Calgary would beat Winnipeg.
Who said that?
Saying that Flames fans and LeBlanc actually. LeBlanc said that. So,
Ooh.
What does he know?
Oh.
true. Good point.
It's his first year being in the playoffs. Settle down, kid.
And he might go further than you. Anyways, Calgary and Minnesota are my
Good
two
one.
picks.
They're not even making it.
They are my two picks for the wild cards in both conferences. All right. So we normally would do like first round predictions, but just because everybody has different wild cards picks, and by everybody I think I mean like Jack and Carter have different picks than us, or I think Jack actually has different. Anyways, we're gonna do a final four. So the final four basically how it works is you pick one team from the Atlantic Division, one team from the East, from the Metropolitan, one team from the Central, and one team from the Pacific to play against each other. And then we'll get into our Stanley Cup final and eventually our Cup pick. So, Jack, pick your final four. Start off with the East, though, because I got to write it down.
All right. Coming out of the Atlantic Division, I got the Panthers.
Okay.
I mean, that Marchand trade was just insane. Last second of the deadline. Metro, I'll go Washington.
Ooh, okay.
Central, I'm going to go Dallas. Sorry, Carter.
Ooh. I just got to
That's
ask
okay.
you. I just got to ask you, where do you have Winnipeg finishing?
Wait.
Winnipeg. Where do you have Winnipeg finishing?
It's a big question for him, Nordic. You got to sound it out.
Are they
Wait, in the standings or in the playoffs?
Are they losing second or first round?
Oh, second round.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's a big question. Are you kidding me? All right. Anyways, out of the Pacific, I'll go Edmonton.
Ooh, rematch of last year's
Yes.
conference finals. I like that. All right, Carter. What do you have?
Don't make me do it.
You don't. Oh, here
I'm sitting this out. I'm sitting it out.
sitting it out.
All right. I got Florida coming out of the Atlantic. I got Washington coming out of the Metro.
All right.
I got Winnipeg coming out of the Central, and I got Edmonton coming out of the Pacific.
Winnipeg coming out of the Central. Here we go again. And then Oilers, as you said.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got to write it all down. That's why I'm rushing. All right. For me, yeah, I'm going Panthers. Same thing. I would be shocked if any other team. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't be shocked. If Tampa made it, I wouldn't be surprised. If Toronto
Tampa's the other one.
If Toronto makes it, though, I will be in big shock. And then for the East, Carolina. I mean, Carolina's been there the last 2-3 years. I think that Washington's had a good year, and I'm going to get a lot of criticism for not having Washington. But I'm not saying they lose first round. I just don't know if they're going to be able to beat a team that has a ton of playoff experience like the Hurricanes do. So that's my other qualm about it. And then on the Central, in the Western Conference, I have the Stars coming out of the Central. Sorry to say it, Carter. And then for the other team, give me the Golden Knights. I think Edmonton, I'm just not trusting Stuart Skinner this year. I'm not into him. So, yeah, I'm going to just say that right now. And then, yeah, so that's our final four. Jack, who do you have winning both of those final four in how many games?
I'm going to go Washington in 7 over the Florida Panthers.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what about the West?
Coming out of the West, oh, man. I don't know if McDavid loses again. Give me the Stars. No. He's losing. I'll go Stars.
okay.
Stars in 6.
So-
6.
So Washington versus Dallas in the Stanley
Yeah.
Cup final. Okay. All right.
Yep.
And then Carter, as I drop my pencil, what do you have? What do you have?
Dude, you just completely glitched out. Everyone's
okay.
frozen.
Carter, what do you have?
Okay, there we go. Fuck.
MacBook quality.
I got Florida in 6,
Okay.
coming out of the East.
Here we go.
Just put them down for 7. I don't want to say it.
Florida in 7?
No. I said Florida in 6 for the West. Just put them down for 7.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying who because I don't want to put that out there.
What do you mean? You have to tell me who.
I'm not saying it, but you know.
No, you need to say it for the fans.
Just roll the intro.
The intro.
No. Fine. Jets in 7.
Jets in 7. All right. I figured that was going to
Say the line, Bart. Say the line, Bart.
Yeah. I'm going to make that a meme.
Oh.
All right, for me, I'm gonna roll with I think I got Florida coming out of the East. They're better than Carolina, at least just this year. And then coming out of the West, Stars of the Night. It's a Southern Cup final, that's for sure. I'll go with Dallas again. Just why not? I feel like we're picking the most basic teams, but
I'm not.
I think these are the teams that have to be in it. No, yes, you are. What do you mean? No, you're
Technically not. You guys are the basic ones. You guys picked the team that adds Mikko Rantanen. Like, shut up.
Oh yeah, you picked one that had Brandon Tanev. Okay.
Hey, Luke Shen too.
Yeah, Luke Shen. All right. Now you got the finals. Jack, you have Washington versus Dallas. Who is winning that and in how many games?
Dallas in 6.
Ooh, okay. So Dallas takes it home. 2 straight Western Conference Finals, and then they defeat the Caps for they're finally their first cup since '99. And then Carter, Florida, back-to-back, or the Winnipeg Jets first cup?
I'm not doing this 3 years in a row. I don't want to do it.
Don't do it then.
And you can't make me say anything besides we will see.
Are you kidding me right now?
I am not kidding you. We will see.
You cannot just say we'll see.
It is we will see. It is we will see.
God, no. Carter, you need to give me an answer. And you need to give me it on the pod. You can't just blue ball all of us and just
it's to be determined.
To be determined? The whole playoffs is to be determined. This is predictions, dude.
And I don't want to put that mojo out there.
If you don't want to jinx them, then don't say it.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be wrong.
Oh my God, you were wrong the last 2 years.
You're right. So 3rd time's the charm. All right, Jets are winning the cup.
Oh my God, how many games?
Jets are winning the cup.
How many games?
I'm thinking. Shut up.
They're going for a 3-peat.
3. If they lose in the first round again, this is gonna be so fun.
If they lose in the first round, I might cry. I'll say in 7. Give me a cup in Winnipeg that I will work my ass off just to be able to afford to go.
If they actually lose in the first round again,
I think if they lose in the first round again, I'm gonna quit the podcast.
I don't think they do this year.
I don't think they do either, but I said that last year. I thought, they have a chance against Colorado, and then it ended up...
Yeah, as soon as Georgiev started playing horrible and then decided to just forget how to play hockey, we scored all our goals in one game.
And then Connor Hellebuck
died.
Hellebuck did the Hellebuck thing in the playoffs. For me, Florida versus Dallas, I'm going to go... Give me Florida back to back. I think they are the team out of the East. It's going to be a 7-game series, but give me Florida. They have the edge in the Stanley Cup Finals. Give me the Florida Panthers in 7 games. Okay, so that being said, our Cup predictions post-trade deadline. Jack has the Dallas Stars winning in 6 games over the Florida Panthers. Over the Washington Capitals. My apologies. That's what Jack has. Carter has the Winnipeg Jets winning in 7 games over the Florida Panthers. And me, I have the Florida Panthers winning over the Dallas Stars in 7 games. So that is our Cup predictions. Let us know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. And what do you got? What should we do if Winnipeg loses in the first round to Carter, Jack?
I will quit the podcast.
You're not quitting the podcast.
I will quit the podcast if they lose.
I have you on contract until the end of next year. So
no, you don't. I burned it.
Oh yeah,
I used a fake signature.
Oh, well, you still signed it, buddy. So what do you mean fake?
No, it's a fake signature though, so you can't prove it's me.
All right, Jack, what do you think we should do to him?
Why am I getting punished?
We should make him jump out of a jet and
how about this? How about this?
Skydiving.
How about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? Hear me out. If the Jets make it to the conference final, you two have to come to Winnipeg. Hold on.
Okay, and stop right there.
No.
Come to Winnipeg.
Fine, we make the Cup final. You guys both have to come to Winnipeg. No. If we make it, you guys both have to come to Winnipeg.
I'll
go in all white suits and walk around downtown just yelling, "I was wrong, go Jets, go."
What if they don't win the Cup? You're still wrong.
You guys don't have an airport. How are we supposed to get there?
What if they?
We have direct flights. We have direct flights to Chicago, Jack. We have direct flights to Chicago.
I'm kidding.
Take that and stick it up your. Anyways, I don't know. If they lose in the first round again, I will go to downtown Winnipeg and do something that you guys asked me to do. That doesn't put my life in jeopardy, please.
Go beat up a random homeless dude.
Not gonna happen, but I could find 5 of them right now.
Go to downtown Winnipeg. Spend 24 hours roaming downtown Winnipeg.
That is. I wouldn't have to quit the podcast. I'd be dead.
Yeah, we wouldn't hear from him again. All right. Yeah, we'll stick with that bet. We'll come back to it. But I'm pinning this on my board, so you are never getting away with it.
I've got to head out, boys.
All right. Jack has to go. We're going to wrap up
for audio.
Pod. Thanks for coming, Jack, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Am I good for audio?
Yeah, you should be. You should be fine.
All right, cool. All right,
stir up next episode.
Yeah.
What?
Stir up next episode.
Yes,
I got you,
buddy.
You fucking better.
All right, let's move into the other news around the National Hockey League here with Jack dipping. Aaron Ekblad was suspended for 20 games without pay for violating the terms of the NHLPA player assistance or performance enhancing substance program. Under the terms of the CBA, the suspension is accompanied by mandatory referral to the NHL/NHLPA program for substance abuse and behavioral health for evaluation and possible treatment. The NHL will have no further comment on this matter. Now, Aaron Ekblad had a statement saying, quote, "As the NHL announced, I have been suspended for violating the NHL/NHLPA performance enhancing substance program. The news that I had failed a random drug test was a shock. Ultimately, I made a mistake by taking something to help me recover from the recent injuries without first checking with proper medical and team personnel. I have let my teammates, the Panthers organization, and our great fans down. For that, I am truly sorry. I have accepted responsibility for my mistake and will be fully prepared to return to my team when my suspension is over. I have learned a hard lesson and cannot wait to be back with my teammates." So, some interesting news there. When's the last time we have seen a player get suspended for performance enhancing substances? The answer to that question is all the way back in 2018 when Nate Schmidt did the thing. And apparently the reason why he said the reason why was because I think he ate tainted meat or something like that. Like the reason was very strange. Carter, I really don't know if you remember that. I don't even know if he was a Jet then. I don't think he was. I think he was with Vegas, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that was the last time we've seen something like this happen. Overall, just very strange. And I wonder what is going to happen with Ekblad moving forward, because apparently there are protocols in place with performance enhancing substances, and the NHL with some of these protocols is pretty weird. They aren't really like that legit. I think apparently you only get tested like once throughout the season, and it's at complete random. So you're really messed up if you got caught, if the precautions are really not that serious. In terms of like they don't run by like a serious regulation thing or anything like that. So very interesting news there on Ekblad. Carter, I don't know if you had any thoughts on it, but what do you think about all this?
This is one thing that I want to say. I saw this brought up, and it was brought up by like I think a meme account or maybe not, but I was like, yeah, this is stupid. Aaron Ekblad, performance enhancing drugs, 20 games, right?
Yeah.
Shane Pinto gambling, 41. I don't know how that makes sense. The only way I see Shane Pinto getting like what he got is if he was betting on his own games. Then the 41 makes sense. But performance enhancing drugs not being more than betting on something that isn't your own game seems ridiculous to me. I don't know if that's just me, but
no, I agree. I feel like with suspensions, the NHL is just so inconsistent with a lot of them. You see Pinto get suspended for those 41 games, and then Ekblad gets 20 for, I would argue, something that is worse. Like, yeah, sure, gambling's not great, but you suspended Pinto for half the season, and now you're suspending Ekblad for it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Until before playoffs? Like, come on.
You know what's funny, though? That Seth Jones trade looks pretty ironic now.
Oh my.
Do you think
that is actually really true?
Do you think the NHL told Florida that this was going to happen and they weren't going to say anything until after the deadline?
That's too stupid, honestly.
Okay.
Because I think willingly knowing that a player is using PEDs, I think should result in a crazy suspension.
Yeah, 100%. I also don't think you should wait either and be like, oh yeah, here, Florida, we're gonna make a move with Ekblad and suspend him without pay, by the way. So yeah, I can totally see why that would make a lot of sense. Speaking of suspensions, literally as of today, Connor Zary was suspended for elbowing Canucks defender Elias Pettersson, and this got a lot of criticism on social media. There's a lot of people who are calling for more games than what it was. Carter, I sent you the clip on the socials. I want to know what your thoughts are on this. I definitely think like it's for a guy who I don't think has a history of, making heavy hits like that and elbows. But I mean, you can't really argue that it's not intentional because it clearly is. You can't argue that it's not dirty because there's head contact. I'm a little shocked it's actually only 2 games, to be honest with you. What do you think about this one?
Well, and I'm currently analyzing.
This is why we.
Oh yeah, no, that's more. That should be way more than 2. What are we doing?
Yeah,
like if he's looking his way to he could have maybe that's defenseless. That's to the back of the head. That's actually brutal.
It is pretty damn dirty. I mean, like, I didn't get to look at it intensely, but that's pretty damn bad. Like, I think even
that was really bad.
Like, yeah, no, that's not good. That should be honestly 5. Like, that is intent to injure. It's a hit to the head. There's really no other way to justify it. Like, I mean, again, like. It's not. I mean, like, he does make a hit on, I think that's Kadri, but like there is no reason why you should be elbowing a guy to the head like that. You lift your elbow up and do that. I'm actually shocked that that's 2, and apparently he only got 2 minutes for interference on that play. in the game itself. So just overall, just like very not a great look for the NHL's PR staff there in terms of that, because that should be a lot more games. I 100% agree. Jonathan Quick signed a 1-year, $1.55 million extension with the New York Rangers. Quick, not a bad goaltender. Has been a good goalie for a very long time. I think next year is probably going to be his last season in the National Hockey League. Maybe he has a few more years left in him. It feels a little bit weird, though, to be honest with you, that Quick is going to retire. He kind of rejuvenated himself with the Rangers. He was teetering off at the end of the LA stint. I shouldn't say stint. He was there for most of his career. But he was teetering off at the end of his time there with the Kings, got traded to Columbus, had a cup of coffee, didn't play a game, got traded to Vegas, played a little bit, didn't play in the playoffs, but ended up winning the cup. And then he signed with the Rangers in the offseason. So, yeah, this is just a really interesting move. I like it for the Rangers. Carter, do you have any thoughts on this one? I like Quick. I've always liked Quick.
Yeah, I mean, he's earned it. He's come in and be a very serviceable backup when Igor can't go. And every single time he's looked really good. Like last season was one of his best seasons I've ever seen.
Yeah, last year he tore it up. Like that was actually crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, he was really good, and he still is really good. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. That is honestly it for news around the NHL. There really wasn't a lot that was going on. Do you have any trending players, Carter? Because I got a few.
Do I? I don't right now. I'll let you go.
All right. I got two. They both involve the Seattle Kraken. Yanni Neiman scored his first goal in his NHL debut last night. So congratulations to Neiman. He was a second-round pick in 2023, I'm pretty sure. And then Brandon Montour scored the fastest overtime goal in NHL history, tallying in at 4 seconds against Montreal last night. It's the fastest ever. That's actually kind of wild. I figured somebody would already hold that record, or they would already be around there, but nope. So Brandon Montour has a piece in NHL history as with the fastest overtime goal. So yeah, those are my two trending players. I guess another one that I could give is Dylan Cousins has been a point per game with the Ottawa Senators. So I feel like, that's something you can bring up.
Oh, you took one of mine.
Oh, sorry. But Cousins
had a
good time there. But Carter, do you have any? Since I just stole yours.
I got one. Cole Perfetti has a new career high in points now.
Ooh,
so congratulations to him. Did I have anyone else? I don't think I have anyone else.
I have one more. Lane Hudson, first rookie this year to reach 50 points on the season. So congrats to Lane Hudson. He's the leading point guy. Not by a large margin, but he still is. And yeah, just scrolling through my stuff, I'm pretty sure that is. What do you got?
Protop, first career hat trick.
Ah, yes. Against Anaheim the other night. Ovechkin with 3 assists. In this economy? Just insane.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like what? You figured he'd have those 3 goals, but yeah, Ovechkin. I think he still even got it at his age. To be honest with you, I'm streaming his game tonight against the Kings, so that's going to be interesting. I think it's his last time he might play Kopitar, second to last time possibly. I do have one more piece though. Apparently, it was released on Monday that next season might be Ovechkin's last in the NHL. Did you see that? Oh, speaking of Ovechkin,
I did see that.
1,600 points, by the way. So he also reached that. But yeah, what do you think about that?
It sucked to see him go, realistically. Especially if he still has stuff left in the tank. But I think once he gets the record, I think his legacy is cemented forever. Like, I don't think that there's really anyone who can really touch him as being an unreal goal scorer until, someone eventually does kind of show up. But I mean, he's one of the best goal scorers we've ever seen. I think of all time. So can't really say too much there, but I mean, when he does end up hanging him up, which I hope is so the wheels fall off for him, but when he does end up hanging him up, it'll be a sad day for sure.
Well, I do want to say this. He wouldn't be done with playing. He would go over to Russia is what we are hearing he'd go sign with Dynamo Moscow, he made it pretty clear that he wants to go play for that team. So I thought that was
no, that's what I mean. But I just mean like hang him up in the NHL.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be a pretty emotional time. I wonder though, like maybe the playoffs will influence that, and maybe if he sees how the Caps play, he might be like, "Yeah, I believe in this team. I want to get one more Stanley Cup." I don't know. We'll have to see though what goes on with Washington and Ovechkin. Let's move into our hot takes. So I asked the Instagram to give us some hot takes post trade deadline. I don't think we got a ton. I think we maybe got like 3 or 4, 2 or 3. But let's hop right into that because that was something that I did want to do. First off, in 5 years, Carolina will come out as the winners of the whole Rantanen trade debacle. What do you think about that one?
I don't know.
I think it really all depends on what those first round picks become.
I agree. I think that it'll be who they draft with them or what they package them with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, though. If Mikko Rantanen wins the Cup this summer with Dallas,
it doesn't matter. I think that's dead.
Yeah, I think that's dead anyways. But if they end up, maybe Carolina wins one before them, then yeah, you can make the argument for sure under certain circumstances. But I think if Rantanen wins the Cup in the summer, it's that takes
that debacle's over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not over, but I think that it's pretty clear that Dallas won the trade, especially if Carolina doesn't win one. The Sens make a playoff run. Now, you don't even have the Sens making the playoff, but if they were to make it, could you see that being a possibility?
Let me see.
Well, they would play either the Capitals or the Panthers/Leafs. I don't see them getting past any of those teams, honestly. I think they could beat Toronto, just because it's Toronto. I think you always have to put that in there because it's the Leafs. I also think, if they play Washington, I'm not taking them to win the series, but I would not be surprised at the slightest if Washington gets upset by Ottawa in the first round. Again, there's a lot of people, if I were to say that in a TikTok, people would lose their minds. I'm sure there's people losing their minds right now. You kind of have to say it in terms of a team that is first in the NHL. Well, actually, no, they're not first in the NHL. They're first in the East. It's a surprising year. They're having a great season. You have to kind of say it. We say the same thing with Winnipeg. It's a real possibility there of happening. And then the last one that we got, so again, not a ton, kind of just, submitted it for fun. Maxim Tisplikov for the Calder. I can't say yes. Are you gonna? No, he's not even gonna. Wow.
Not even gonna entertain this.
You're not even gonna entertain that. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. You know who the 4 guys are that are gonna win this. That are gonna win the Calder. It's between Michkov, Celebrini, Wolf, and Hudson. And notice how Tisplikov is not one of those names. So yeah, I think that's pretty night and day, to be honest with you. And then yeah, those are the hot takes. Let's wrap up with the power rankings. This is our first power rankings in a while, actually. It's been our first one in a little bit.
Is it?
I think definitely our first one since post trade deadline. But yeah, let's hop right into it. I'm gonna let Carter go first, just because Carter, you get mad if I didn't let him go first. Carter, who is the best team in the league right now, according to you, in terms of power ranking?
I think it's got to be Winnipeg, eh?
Really? Okay, I'll go with.
I think it'd still be. Well, hang on. Give me a second here. You never gave me a chance to pull up.
Okay. He's pulling up the standings.
Pull anything up, and now things are gonna get bad, and then I'm gonna feel like shit, and because you hate me, and now I'm gonna start crying. What month is it?
I think I know what team should be first.
Do you?
I do.
Good thing this isn't your pick.
Yeah, okay.
Give me Colorado. You know what? I'll take Colorado.
Really? Okay. All right.
6-0-1 in their last 7. Been really good. 32 goals to 13. 30 average. That's ridiculous. 32 goals in 7 games. That's almost 5 a game.
Yeah, they've been lighting it up, especially with that game against Toronto. They absolutely lit them up. So yeah, I can totally see that. That's fair. Having Colorado at 1. I was gonna go Washington.
So pipe it.
I was gonna go Washington because they've won 5 in a row. They have the tiebreaker for first in the National Hockey League. So I was gonna roll with the Caps. But I could totally see the Jets or the Avs or another team going number 1 there. All right, number 3. Who do you got?
Number three. You took the Caps. I will take the Carolina Hurricanes.
Ooh,
I think 6-1 in their last 7. Only allowed 12 goals. Been looking pretty good so far, and I think that they won their last game against.
they did.
They absolutely clobbered the Jets. Played really, really well, and then handled Tampa Bay no problem. And they're on a nice little win streak here. So, yeah, that's gonna be my pick.
Yeah, they've been on a tear since the trade deadline for sure. I feel like
The whole Miko debacle.
Yeah, I feel like that really kind of like shifted momentum in their favor. So I can totally see that. Give me the Dallas Stars at number 4. They are 8-2-0 in their last 10. They have been pretty damn good since Rantanen has come to town. They damn near came back and beat the Oilers. So, yeah, I definitely think that the Stars are number 4. What about number 5?
Number 5, I'm going to go with the Florida Panthers. They have only allowed 7 goals in their last 6 games, which is really, really impressive right there. So that's going to be my pick there is the Florida Panthers.
Panthers at 5. I don't hate that at all. They've been very great since the deadline. Those ads of Jones and them have been really, really convenient for that roster. Give me at number 6. I'm going to go with the Ottawa Senators. They have won 4 games in a row. They have been awesome post the trade deadline. Brady Tkachuk, just looking like Brady Tkachuk. Dylan Cousins, that ad has been absolutely incredible, as we both predicted. And, yeah, I've loved how the Senators have played. Number 7.
Number 7, I will go with the Winnipeg Jets here.
It's probably the lowest.
Yeah, it's one of the lowest for sure. Beat the Rangers at home. That game was an absolute nail-biter. Couldn't handle Carolina. They lost that one 4-2, but then absolutely owned the New Jersey Devils 6-1 on the road. So that's going to be my pick for number 7 there.
Yeah, Jets make a lot of sense. I was wondering when we were going to say them. I think you would be stupid not to go with the Jets. Definitely in the top 10. I actually thought about putting them number 4, but I think there's other teams in the league that are better than Winnipeg right now. It always isn't just the standings. Number 8. Who's another team that's doing pretty good right now? Number 8. I'll go with the LA Kings. 3 wins in a row. I think that they definitely should have did more at the trade deadline, but I think that at least through this stretch, they've been pretty solid. So I'll go with the LA Kings. Why not? And then for your final pick, Carter, number 9, who do you have?
Have we said the Senators yet? I can't remember if you did.
I said the Sens.
Okay, you did. Okay. Man. Give me... No, I can't take them. You already took Dallas, Washington. You said Vegas, right?
I did not say Vegas.
I will take Vegas. I think they've had 25 goals in their last 6 games and 16 goals against, which not the most ideal thing that you want to see there, but at the same time, 25 goals, averaging 4 a game is pretty unbelievable. So it's going to be my pick there.
Yeah, Vegas, very underrated. I wouldn't say underrated, but definitely a team that I feel like, for me at least, does get a little bit overlooked against some of those Western teams. Definitely do for me. And then at number 10, I'll go with Tampa here. I think the Lightning have, they've lost 2 in a row. They've started a little bit teeter off still, but I think they're still top 10 in power rankings. I think them being towards the bottom is completely fair. The other option I could go with is Toronto, but I really haven't liked how Toronto's been playing. They barely beat Utah the other night. They might get destroyed tonight by Florida. We'll see. But yeah, that is our power rankings for March 14th, 2025. Avalanche at 1, Capitals at 2, Hurricanes at 3, Stars at 4, Panthers at 5, Senators at 6, Jets at 7, Kings at 8, Knights at 9, and then Lightning at 10. And that's a wrap for episode number 96 of the NordCast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Carter, any final thoughts?
Do not quote me on anything that I said today.
You know what I'm going to do.
I know you're going to do it.
Yeah, we're going to add all 3 of the clips together and just make it's a hat trick of compilations.
No.
Carter, I got to be honest with you. Like, next year, are you really going to go with the Jets again? You surely can, right?
Okay, here's my problem, is that last year when it got to that point, it was like the Jets were doing good.
They were.
Then they fell off a cliff again, and then they started to pick it up right near the playoffs. I'm like, okay, like, I can do this. And I'm like, I didn't want to pick them, but like they were doing so good. And then this year, I literally went into the season. I'm like, no bias. I'm not going to go with any bias. And yet they're like tied with Washington as the number 1 team in the league. What am I supposed to do? Not pick them? No. You gotta have there's always going to be a little bit of bias with me. That one was literally the smallest amount of bias. They're the number 1 team in the league.
I can't wait for you to say the same thing in the offseason you said last year, where you're like, I'm done being biased. I'm done with this. I'm not doing this.
But like the thing is that this one isn't even bias. Like there's not a single bit of bias in this one.
I mean, we'll get to the point next year where you'll say the same thing again and again and again. And it's just...
realistically, if they're another first round exit, I will never pick the Jets for anything again.
Okay.
They could be the number 1 team by like 30 points, and I will not pick them to win the cup.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't really pick them to win the cup either, just because sometimes the best team in the league is not always the team that wins the Stanley Cup. I think that's been proven.
Yeah, well, it's about 3 times that I've called it and none have hit. So, like, am I going to stop betting? No. You double down and you put more money on it.
You know what? Hell yeah. I'll take that. I respect that. All right. That's a wrap for this episode of the pod. Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll be back with you next week. By then, we should have some teams that have clinched. We'll see, though. But regardless, that's it for us. Thanks for watching and listening. Follow the Instagram. Follow the Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to yet again another episode of the NordCast. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below or follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are at NordCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, follow at NordCast_. That'll do it for this episode. I'm Nordic. Thanks for listening from all the crew, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.